Everybody, welcome to the Cindy Donaldson Show. I am your host, Cindy Donaldson. I am a certified high performance coach, serial entrepreneur, live full time in my RV traveling, and I'm an absolute mission to ensure that all of you out there understand that you can live your life by design on your terms, not on somebody else's. So today, I want to give you a little update on kind of what's been happening in my life because it's been a hot minute. I've been MIA from the podcast and haven't really been that much out on social media. My son got married in Ireland over the summer, and we decided to turn that into a vacation. So we wandered around the UK and Ireland for several weeks, and it was wonderful. And then on the way back, I got the gift of COVID. So it kind of knocked me out for a while, and I'm just now getting caught up with work. It's September here in Connecticut. Yes, I'm still staying at my daughter's house in Connecticut. That was pretty intentional. We spent the holidays in Europe, in Germany, and the Netherlands for about a month. And then when I came back, I knew that I was going to have a lot of work to do. My company was originally founded here in Connecticut, although now it is based in Florida. When you're a full-time RVer, you have to choose a domicile. We chose Florida because Dave's mom lives there. But the majority of my clients are here. And so I hadn't really spent a lot of time up here visiting them, going out to lunch, doing all the sales stuff. So I decided to do that. And I also had some speaking and training engagements. So we have actually been in Connecticut for several months outside of the trip abroad. And I have to admit, I'm getting a little itchy to travel. So we are cleaning up the RV and getting her ready to hit the road again in a few weeks. I have to go to Florida, which is, I kind of have a love-hate relationship with this trip because I'm going there for an incredible speaking opportunity. I'm a keynote at the Conference for Society of Bank Executives down in Miami. Never been to Miami. I'm not a huge fan of Florida, to be honest. I don't like the weather. I am a fall winter girl, and I'm leaving Connecticut at peak fall time. So the leaves are starting to change here, which is beautiful, but I'm probably going to miss a lot of the glory part. I'm only going to be down there for a couple weeks, and then I have to come back up north for some other work, and then I have to go to Colorado, another one of my favorite places, by the way. But in any event, today I want to talk about playing small because I've done hundreds upon hundreds of hours of coaching and training and speaking about living your life by design, living life on your terms. It is my thing, right? It is totally my thing because I lived for years following the narrative. I lived for years questioning me, questioning who I am, questioning whether I should be my authentic self. And I realized that I have control over that. But so many people still live in the constraints of others. So it really does come back to this narrative of living small. So let's talk about it. Living small to me, everybody probably has their own version of this, but living small to me is kind of like living in Spanx constantly. And I did an entire keynote, and I'm doing it again, about getting rid of your emotional Spanx. So for those of you who don't know what Spanx are, they're control undergarments. They suck you all in. They're tight. They're constricting. They make you look fabulous, but they're constricting. So you're not really showing your true you. Now, I'm not judging anybody who wears Spanx. Hell, I've got several of them in my dresser over here. But there is this constriction, right? And so when you think about playing small, you think about, you're kind of like wrapped up in this really tight whatever, and you're itching to come out, but you can't. Reality, you can, but you think you can't. You think that you can't because you're going to disappoint somebody, your parent, your spouse, your children, yourself. You're afraid of failure, which is really like, and I say this all the time, there really isn't a fear of failure as much as a fear of judgment of others. Because if no one knew you failed, you wouldn't give two shits about it. You really wouldn't give two shits. It's really the fear of judgment of others. So how do you get beyond it? That's the big question. Because everybody can sit and spout, oh, don't play small. Don't live life on somebody else's terms. Don't be a sheep. But how do you do it? It really starts with you, right? You've got to do the self-work. And trust me, it's not easy. It's easy to say it. It's not easy to do. And I teach on this. I speak on it. I preach on it, and I deeply believe it. That doesn't mean that I'm immune to the struggle, because I always question myself, always. And I have to stop and dig deep and say, Cindy, this is your life. It's not anybody else's life. It's your life. Do what you want. Do what makes you happy. You want purple hair? You want red glasses? You want to go live in an RV? You want to be open about your politics and who you are? Then go be you. Like, it doesn't matter. And one of the pushbacks I always get, and especially with entrepreneurs and businesses, if I am not neutral, if I am not Switzerland, if I don't appease everybody, I'm going to lose some customers. And you are right. You will. You will. But what you will gain are fiercely loyal customers, loyal connections, a loyal inner circle who aligns with your mission, vision, and values. And that is far more important than having a bunch of people who don't, where you have to walk on eggshells constantly. Like, I am so over that. And I know a lot of business owners will disagree with me on this one. I've been around the block a few times. I'm very open about my politics. I am not a MAGA follower at all. I think he's incredibly dangerous. And have I lost customers because of that? Oh, 100%. But what I've gained has been incredible. I took off that emotional Spanx and I just said, screw it. You know, I don't want to be around people who don't align with my mission, vision, and values. And it's very different than being discriminatory, which let's talk about that, right? Because when you talk about not playing small and you talk about coming out as your true authentic self, that doesn't mean that you don't believe other people can have their personal values. People can believe whatever they want. I don't care. That doesn't mean that I have to be in that circle. There are a lot of people who don't want to be around me because I am who I am. There are people who won't hire me because I am who I am. And that's okay. That's okay. It is beyond freeing when you stop playing small. It is beyond freeing. So back to, how do you do it? One, you have to do the deep work and understand who you are. It all starts with self-awareness. Every single leadership class that I teach, the first thing I talk about beyond what I believe a leader is this idea of self-awareness. You cannot lead, you cannot inspire, you cannot be happy or successful until you understand who you are on a deep level. And I often do the Ikigai exercise with folks. And if you've never done Ikigai, it's this Japanese theory of being, where you align your purpose with what the world wants, what you can get paid for. And that magic intersection is where you should be and how you should live your life. And there's books on it and everything. Go ahead and Google it. I often buy the book for my coaching clients if they're really struggling with this. You know, what should I do? You should do what you want to do, right? Playing small also is about diminishing yourself or dimming your light to appease others. So the economy is kind of crazy here in the States. If you're tuning in from another country, it's crazy here, right? So a lot of people are retracting. A lot of my nonprofits have lost federal grants, which means I've lost contracts and paychecks. Middle market companies are pulling back on marketing and promotional products and training, all the stuff that I do, right? So the tendency for some people is to also retract, right? And what that means is, like, so if someone isn't willing to pay you what you're worth, say you want to make $50 an hour to do something, but they're like, yeah, we only have $25 an hour in the budget, you could say yes. You're lowering yourself to that standard. Now, I understand I'm not Pollyanna, everybody has to eat, right? And there's also instances where I definitely give scholarships and give breaks to clients if I know their whole story. There's other times I refuse to do that because I know my self-worth. I know how much value I bring from being here for 63 years. I got a lot of scar tissue. There's a lot of value in this gray matter that people are willing to pay for, right? And so I don't lower my fees. I don't. I may retract on some of the offerings to meet their budget, but I do not play small in that area anymore. I am what I am, and I'm proud of that. I've worked very hard in my life to get where I am, and I know that there are people and companies who are willing to pay me for what I'm worth. There are other people who are just starting out doing what I'm doing who charge a lot less. And sometimes I lose projects to them. That's okay. Let them have that. Let them have that. But again, you need to understand your worth. I've spent years in therapy and coaching and self-awareness and personal development to get to a point where I understand what makes me happy, what I'm really good at. Do I know where I want to be in 10 years? No. Part of that is my ADHD brain, and I'm constantly thinking and evolving. But I also understand that, success and happiness comes from being open to opportunities, which is really the next step in this playing small thing. You have to be open to the growth. You have to be open to the change. What I do now is vastly different than what I did, 5 years ago. The market has changed. The economy has changed. The political atmosphere has changed. Clients, I have new industries I've tapped into. I'm constantly evolving. If I didn't, I'd be Blockbuster, right? The same goes for your happiness in life. But when we talk on a personal level, it goes back to the hamster wheel. And if you're listening to this, I can guarantee there's a time in your life where you felt you were on the hamster wheel. You woke up, rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat. You wake up, you drink your coffee, you get the kids off to school or whatever. You go to the gym, you go to work, you come home, you put on your pajamas, you watch Netflix, you eat ice cream, you wake up. It's over and over and over again. And you just feel like you're numb. You're absolutely numb inside. That's what playing small does. It numbs you. You feel like, I've just got to get through this. I've just got to get through this thing called life. And that breaks my soul. There's so much to see. There's so much to do. There's so much to learn. Now, if you like that rinse and repeat, and that makes you happy, some people are addicted to the structure, and that's how they love to live their life, and they're happy then that's great. I'm talking about the people who are on that hamster wheel and are miserable. Because happiness is so subjective. What makes me happy isn't going to make you happy, probably. I'm an odd duck. I like a lot of different weird things. I can be in hiking pants and not take a shower for a week, living in the RV, to being all dolled up and going to a gala. Like, I live in both worlds. I miss my little sports car. I did sell her when we bought the Jeep to go live full time in the RV, but I'm a Jeep girl and I'm a little red sports car girl. I can do both. I can do both, right? So I also have a left and a right brain. I can logically think through process and procedure. I'm very good at that. One of my gifts is I can go into a company or meet a person and I immediately can tell where the roadblocks are. And then my brain just kind of goes through this odd process of figuring out the solution very quickly, very quickly. So I have, that left brain thing. I was confused which is left and which is right. I think the left is the logical and the right brain is the creative. I paint, I write, I enjoy like nature. I'm a crunchy granola hippie girl, but I can also sit in a boardroom. So I thought like I was broken for years because I had this kind of split personality. And I realized, no, that's just who I am. And of course, I was diagnosed late in life with ADHD, so that explained a lot of shit. But, learning who you are on a very deep level is the first step in all of this. So if you want to break through the emotional Sphinx, if you want to stop playing small, do the work. It can be as simple as, getting out a journal. And I do this with my clients a lot. I'm like, get a journal. I don't care. You can do it on your iPad, your computer, you can handwrite it, you can type it. It doesn't matter. But you need a place for your thoughts and your words. Get a journal and just start writing down things that make you happy. Start writing down words that resonate with you. Make a fucking bucket list. Write down the things that you want to achieve in your life. And you will have such self-awareness just from that process of writing down words and things you want to do. Your mind will be blown. It is that simple to get started. But then you have to actually do something with them. Like a lot of times I'll have people write their manifesto. Like, who they are and why it matters and why anybody should care, especially why you should care, right? So writing down those words and doing that type of a manifesto is incredibly powerful. And people don't take the time to do it. I do entire programs and keynotes about this bucket list challenge, actually creating a bucket list and doing it. And before I start the program, I always make people raise their hand about how many people have a bucket list. Maybe 10% will raise their hands. And then I'm like, keep your hand up if you've actually accomplished at least 50% of that. And it is rare that any hands stay up. So that's the challenge. Live your life. Stop playing small. Go jump in the waters of Antarctica, climb Kilimanjaro, sell your house and everything in it and go live in an RV. Go toss your name in the hat for that dream job. Even if you're not even semi-close to being qualified, who cares? Who cares? Who cares if somebody judges you? Like, who cares? Condition yourself to not care what other people think. That's the hardest part. Like I said, there's really no fear of failure. There's fear of judgment of others when you fail. Everybody fails. The most successful people I work with, multimillionaires, PhDs, they have all failed more times than I can even think about. What makes them successful and others struggle is that they've accepted the failure as part of the growth. They're like, okay. And if people judge them, they're like, whatever, you don't matter. Like, you're not me. You're not running my life. I'm running my life. I'm running my life. Again, I've said this like 15 times probably in this podcast. It's not easy. I continually catch myself. Like, for instance, I did a TikTok the other day about how I was really struggling. I had a mental health, like, kind of meltdown day because the current administration and all of these federal cutbacks have really affected my clients, which in turn trickles down to affecting me. Like, my projected cash flow and income has been drastically cut. And the mental health challenge of that wasn't the fact that I'm going to probably have half the income based on what I thought, but it was more about the fact that I have to once again restructure. At 63 years old, I have to restructure, reinvent, and every once in a while, the inkling comes back, maybe I should go get a job. And then I realize I'm really unemployable. But have I gone down the rabbit hole a few times because I'm incredibly impulsive and applied for a bunch of jobs? Yeah, I've done that. Have I gotten fired? I mean, hired? No, I haven't gotten hired. I have gotten a few interviews, and then they realize, yeah, I am the one who will come in and mix it up. Now, a lot of these companies would absolutely benefit from me being on their team, but a lot of CEOs just can't handle that. And that's okay. That's okay. But it's a constant challenge. And did I think, oh my gosh, if I got a job, what would people think? And then that was the red flag for me. I was like, oh my God, Cindy, like, stop the madness. Like, it doesn't matter what other people think. If I decided to close my business today and go get a job, which I've done a couple times in my life, by the way, left entrepreneur world, went and got a 9-to-5, and they were some of the best decisions I ever made. And I stayed there until I kind of got the entrepreneurial itch again, which most hiring managers know that about serial entrepreneurs. They're only going to stay for a little bit, but I'm 63. How much longer would I be there, right? But they were some of the best decisions I ever made. I look for the opportunities. I take the risks. All of those risks don't turn out to be great decisions, and that's okay. But anyway, that's my message for you today. Don't play small. Just go be you. Live your best life and stop worrying about what other people think, because at the end of your life, the only person that really matters is you and how you lived your life, how you treated other people. Were you a good human? Did you enjoy your life? Were you happy? Or are you going to be on your deathbed with a list of regrets? Make the bucket list. Go have a great day. Again, I'm Cindy Donaldson, host of the Cindy Donaldson Show. If you want to connect with me deeper, you can go to either of my websites, redbarnconsultingllc.com or cindy-donaldson.com. Everything I do is there. And you can also sign up for my email that goes out twice a week on Mondays and Thursdays, filled with great nuggets, inspiration, and personal development insight. Have a great day. Bye.